Hello everyone, welcome back. So, what's going on? Progress on the W1. Had some framework done to it, and it needs a little more. Had the welding done, and I'll show you that in the next video for that bike. I got to grind down some of the welds and then bring it to be painted, powder coated. I don't know, still don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do it myself or if I'm going to bring it somewhere. But in the meantime, well, I'm deciding on that, and the framework gets done. There's a lot of other things I could do to that bike, but you get a little burnt out working on it constantly. So, what I have to do now, my brother-in-law has 3 scooters. None of them run. I brought 2 of them home to work on. This is scooter number 1. It's a 2015 Ice Bear, whatever that is. I don't know how long he's had these. I think he might have bought them in 2019, maybe. New. They were like leftovers. That's one. Here's the other one. So the plan with these is to figure out what's wrong with them. I know he said there was an electrical issue with this one. This one, I'm not sure. I think he said it had a fuel leak, and I don't know if there was any other issues with it. Looks like they've been kind of ridden hard. Battery door's missing. That one's missing too, and some of the bolts that go underneath. 2,500 miles on this one. I think that one had like 1,100 miles on it, if I'm not mistaken. So those are the projects I'm going to be working on. And yeah, I decided to work on this one first. If I can get these running and running good, I'm going to ride them back to his house, which is a little ways away. I have to be honest, I've never ridden a scooter before. It's kind of a cool looking bike though. He says it'll do about 45, 50 miles an hour. That's with him on it, and he's a little heavier than me, so we'll have to see. All right, first step I got to do is get the batteries out and see if they're any good. Because as far as I know from what he said, these might be the original batteries, so they could be 9 years old and shot. But we'll see if there's a date on them, and I'll put them on the charger and see if they'll take any juice. Okay, this battery is a 170115, so it's either January 17th of 2015 or January 15th of 2017. Either way, it's pretty old. This one says 2015 0615, so that one's currently 9 years old. And no water in it. I've got the other one hooked up to the charger. It's got a red flashing light, which means it's not charging. So, I have a feeling before we do anything, we're going to need at least one good battery that we can run between the two. Possibility I can get this thing going on a jumper box though, so we'll move on from here. All right, I looked the battery up. Battery's like 25 bucks. That's insanely cheap. I do have a jump box on here. It's at 12.9 volts. So we have that hooked up. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Turn our key on. Our fuel gauge is going up. Signal light works in the front, not in the back. That one works in the front and in the back. Okay, so I know we need at least a bulb. Brake light works with the front brake. Brake light works with the rear brake. Okay, we're doing good. That's the kill. That's the ignition. Horn. We're good there. Headlights though. I see nothing from the headlights. Do they only come on when it runs? Not sure. Let's see. There's our gas tank. You know, he said he had a fuel leak in this. That tank's almost full. This cover's been off. There's the carburetor. That's disgusting looking. So maybe it's only leaking when it runs. Is there a fuel shutoff on these? I see a fuel line and a fuel filter. I don't see a fuel shutoff. All right, well, I'm gonna start by popping this air filter off, make sure there's no mouse nests or anything in there. I'm actually kind of excited to work on this. Something new. See if I can get this thing to run. It says air filter, please wash and dry air filter thoroughly after each 1,000 miles. I guess you don't even have to replace it. Just clean it. Well, I thought we were going to get away without having a screw underneath. What's this? Is there another one? Oh yeah. It's just a foam filter. Alright. No mouse nests. There's some kind of diaphragm up here. I wonder if it needs a pulse for the fuel to come out. You know, like a vacuum. All right, and with the risk of blowing up, we got to find out where this fuel leak is. If it has one. This is in run position. That's throttle's off. I believe you need to hit the brake to start it. I'll turn the key on. Hit the brake and the start button. All right, let's see if there's any fuel anywhere. All right, after cranking it, I don't see any fuel leaks. I suppose I should check that there's fuel at that filter, that we're at least getting fuel towards the carburetor. Because we could be dealing with more than one issue here. Plus, you know, it's been a while, I think, since he rode these, so anything could have happened between now and then. So let's give that a shot. You know, before we go chasing our tails and stuff, let's just see if there's any spark. I'd really like to get this whole back thing off here. It might make life easier. I'm not so sure how hard that is. But I'm going to try to take out that little bucket in there with a battery, where the carburetor cover is and stuff, and see what's holding this whole thing on. So I got that whole seat assembly out. So now I can actually get down here and look at things. And the spark plug is here. The boot here, I took that off. So I can get that plug out and we can see if we have any spark. That is without a doubt the smallest spark plug I've ever seen. Now it takes me, can I do this with one hand? Get you down in there and see if there's any spark. Hopefully you're in focus. Key on. That pulled. Oh, my jump box isn't on. Hold on.
What an idiot.
Let's see. I'm going to key on that kill switch. Let's see if there's any spark. There is spark. Okay. So the plug's definitely on the blacker side, but it did have spark. I gave it a little bit of a sand on it. I took the number down though, just in case I decide to order a new one. Should we dare put some fuel in that spark plug hole? This hose, which goes to this diaphragm for this fuel, really just slides in and off. That clip doesn't do anything, so I'm going to cut it back, shorten that. So the fuel filter's here. Let's disconnect the outlet of that. See if there's any fuel here. Oh, sorry. Now let's crank it and see if any comes out. Very, very little. You do get some. I don't think enough to run on. You know, enough to keep a bike running. All right. So is it that diaphragm or is it something in the tank? I seem to have good flow of fuel out of the tank to that valve there. Coming out of it, I don't know. Maybe it's enough, maybe it's not. I'm going to try one more thing here. Oh, it kicked. Gave a kick. Well, it is another day for me, and yeah, I decided to get this bodywork off this bike because I think we're going to try to adjust the valves as well. I'm going to change the oil on it today. I've got a couple of parts on order, including a new petcock diaphragm, whatever you want to call that. Not sure about the carburetor. I was thinking about getting a carburetor kit and they're like 15 bucks. But a brand new carburetor is only a little over 20 bucks, so we may go with that. I'm gonna dump the oil. See, this thing, he never even took this plastic off these things. It's funny, they're on the lenses too, some of them. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's start with the oil. Dump that. Right, there's a screen in here. I guess that's as much oil filter as you're gonna get. So I'll just make sure that that's clean before we put it back in. I think this takes maybe, I don't know, not even a quart, like 3/4 of a quart or so. I will let that drain. We'll rock it back and forth too, make sure we get it all out. So while that's draining, we'll take this rocker cover off, and this is part of the emissions. That's got to come off. How does that come off? Oh, it comes off with it. We'll take that off and adjust the valves. Alright, so the intake should be 0.004. That's actually right on. You know, if I didn't check these, it would have been way off. And the exhaust should be 0.005. So let me get that one out. Yeah, I'd say we're probably good. Yeah. Guess that was a waste of time. We'll put that back together. Okay, now that I got my screen cleaned out, the drain plug back in again, I'm going to fill it with oil. I might get comments on what oil to use, and I don't want to hear it because everybody has their own favorites and this and that. So I might not even tell you what I'm putting in here, but it is the same thing I put in every bike. For those of you who can't read, I usually use that oil that has zinc in it. I don't use synthetics in bikes, mainly because that's not what they had when they were new. They didn't have synthetics. This bike they probably did, but if you change it often enough, I don't think you really need it. The expense of it. This oil has zinc in it, which is good for flat tappet engines. The way I use it on all my older bikes. So this thing should be upright or level, and you don't thread it in, you just push it in. And yeah, we're still low. I'd rather have underfilled it the first time than overfilled it. So the kit that I ordered for the diaphragm there, Petcock, comes with fuel line and a filter. Like I said, it was under 10 bucks. So that's cheap. I mean, it's unbelievable the difference between parts for this and the parts for, say, one of those old Yamahas. The battery for this, like 25 bucks. The battery for, like, the Yamaha, 60, 70 bucks. Carburetor for this, 25 bucks. Carburetors for the Yamaha, for a pair, probably a couple $100 or more. That's right about up on the top. I'll check it again after we run it a little. But that should be good to start with. Let's check the air in these little tires. I know the when I was rolling the black one of these around, the front tire did not look good. It looked like it had a flat spot in it. I don't know if it's empty on air or if it's full, but if that flat spot remains, that's not going to be good riding on. So, according to this, it takes 43 psi max per tire. Got the rear tire hooked up. 0. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't have a massive leak. Let's go with 40. Filled up the front. For some reason when I put it to 40 it always goes to 39. I don't hear any leaks here. This one did have 1 psi in it though, so, you know, had to be good, right? So I opened up the little glove box door to see if there was anything in there, missing screws or something. That hinge looks like it came off, so we'll fix that if we can. And I think maybe we'll give this thing a good wash. This thing is pretty dusty. Probably hasn't been washed in years. Well, it hasn't been ridden in years, so we'll do that next. Okay, hinge fixed. And let's give this thing a good scrub. So I think that's where we're going to end this one, with a clean bike. I cleaned the other one too while I had the hose and everything out, so that one will be a little cleaner to work on. But yeah, I got a couple of parts coming for this. I got to see if he wants me to check the belt or anything like that, because I don't know if it's been replaced or not. I'll find out. Or if he wants me to replace the carburetor, even though it does seem to run okay right now. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.